the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. "My lords," he said, "come to my home to wash your feet, and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again." "Oh no," they replied. "We'll just spend the night out here in the city square." But Lot insisted, so at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted to Lot, "Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them." So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. "Please, my brothers," he begged, "don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection." "Stand back," they shouted. "This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men." And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. But the 2 angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. "Do you have any other relatives here in the city?" they asked. "Get them out of this place, your sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone else, for we are about to destroy this city completely. The outcry against this place is so great it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it." So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, "Quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. At dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. "Hurry," they said to Lot. "Take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city." When Lot still hesitated, the angels seized his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Run for your lives, and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." "Oh no, my lord," Lot begged. "You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness. But I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster would catch up to me there, and I would soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved." "All right," the angel said. "I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there." This explains why that village was known as Zoar, which means little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them, along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain toward Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. Afterward, Lot left Zoar because he was afraid of the people there, and he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his 2 daughters. One day, the older daughter said to her sister, "There are no men left anywhere in this entire area, so we can't get married like everyone else, and our father will soon be too old to have children. Come, let's get him drunk with wine, and then we will have sex with him. That way we will preserve our family line through our father. So that night they got him drunk with wine, and the older daughter went in and had intercourse with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, "I had sex with our father last night. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight, and you go in and have sex with him. That way we will preserve our family line through our father." So that night they got him drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. As a result, both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the nation, now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ami. He became the ancestor of the nation, now known as the Ammonites.
All right, diving right in. Let's talk about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's one of those stories, right? Everybody's heard of it.
Right.
You hear fire and brimstone, and it's like, wow, okay, intense.
Yeah.
But we're going deeper than that.
Yeah.
We're going into Genesis 19.
Okay.
And when you think about this story, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Well, I think it's interesting how quickly it escalates.
Mhm.
It goes from like, oh, here are two angels they're visiting to like total annihilation.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's intense.
So, okay, we're in Sodom, right? Two angels show up.
Yeah.
They look like men. Nobody knows they're angels at this point.
Right.
And it's kind of important.
Yeah.
Because the text is very clear. Sodom's got a reputation.
It does. It does.
And it's not just like, oh, they're being bad.
Right.
They're wicked.
Oh, good.
Like, that's the word.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it gets specific.
It does, right?
And it really focuses on
How they treat strangers, yeah.
hospitality or lack thereof.
Exactly. And that matters because
Yeah.
enter Lot.
Right.
He's like the main guy in this whole drama, and he's sitting at the city gate.
Okay.
So imagine like the ancient town square.
Okay, yeah.
That's where he is. He sees these two dudes, these two strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lot, he seems like one of the few, like, decent people in this town.
He does, yeah.
He's like, nope, you're not staying out there. Come on, you're staying with me.
Come on in.
Food, shelter, the whole 9 yards.
Which, again, that's such a...
Huge deal.
It's a huge deal. Like, that was not just like, oh, come on in for tea. That was like...
Right, it was a moral obligation.
A big moral obligation.
Yeah.
And it sets up what happens next to be even more like...
Right, right.
So night falls.
Yeah.
And there's a mob outside Lot's house.
Oh.
And I don't mean like a small group.
Right.
It's all the men,
Every man.
young and old,
Wow.
demanding Lot hand over his guests.
It's scary.
And their reason is
Horrifying.
they want to assault them, sexually assault these visitors.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, the story takes this sharp turn.
It really does, yeah.
And then Lot does something that I don't know how to even, like...
It's really hard to wrap your mind around, right?
He offers the mob his daughters instead.
I know.
And like, I know.
It's
anyone listening right now is probably like, what?
right, and understandably so.
But we have to remember, different time, different culture.
Totally different world.
It's still awful.
Oh, absolutely.
But it shows you the extremes.
It does. It shows the danger that these angels were actually in.
And how desperate Lot was.
How desperate he was, yeah.
to just be like, anything but this.
Take anything else.
And the mob, they don't even hesitate.
No.
Like, they're ready to break down the door.
Wow.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
And that's when these guests, these visitors,
Oh.
they're like, time's up. We're showing who we are.
Yeah, yeah.
They're angels.
They are.
They pull Lot back in, slam the door,
Bless you.
and the entire mob instantly blinds.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
Divine intervention.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
It's like, don't mess with us.
Yeah, this is above your pay grade kind of moment.
Right, right. Exactly.
And the angels, they tell Lot,
Yeah.
okay, we're here for a reason. God's judgment is coming.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty.
No.
It's going to be big. It's going to be bad. It's going to be
It's the whole thing.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember it's not just this one incident, right?
Right.
Like, the text says the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah had reached heaven.
Oh, okay. So this is like,
This is a pattern of behavior.
okay, so it's not like they're being judged just on this one night.
No, this is like the culmination of it.
This is, okay, this has been built.
Building.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they're like, get out, get your family, and don't look back.
Don't look back.
Like, whatever you do, don't look back.
Right.
But Lot, he hesitates.
He does.
He's like, wait.
Yeah.
He's told to go to the mountains, but he's like, how about that town over there instead?
Right.
What's that about?
Well, I think it's fascinating because even though he's seen how awful Sodom is,
Yeah.
he's still got some connection to it.
He doesn't want to, like, completely let go.
Yeah, he's torn.
Even though he knows.
He knows, but it's hard.
It's that human thing, isn't it?
It is. It's that, oh, I know this is bad, but
But.
it's complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it really is complicated. And in the end, the angels, they agree. They're like, okay, we'll spare that town Zoar.
So Lot and his family, they get out just in time.
Yeah, just in time.
And then, I mean, talk about intense. The destruction.
Like, you can almost picture
Fire
it,
and brimstone, everything gone.
completely wiped out.
Such a powerful image, of divine wrath. But
Yeah.
there's this other part that always gets me.
What's that?
Lot's wife.
Oh, right.
They're running. They're escaping.
Yeah.
And she can't help herself. She looks bad.
It's such a small act.
Huge
but
consequences.
huge. I mean, talk about, like, don't do this one thing.
Right. And she does it.
And boom, instantly a pillar of salt.
It's kind of terrifying when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things that, I don't know.
It's debated.
Oh, people have been debating this for centuries.
What does
like,
it mean?
Yeah, what does it really mean? Is it just about, like, straight up disobedience?
Right.
Like, you defied a direct command. There you go.
Or is there something more to it?
Right, because some people, they see it as, like, she wasn't just curious.
It was deeper than that.
Yeah, like, maybe a part of her, it still longed for Sodom.
Even though she knew.
It's like that pull of the familiar, even when you know it's wrong.
It's sad.
It really is. And you have to think about Abraham, too, right?
Oh, right, because he was the one who was pleading with God.
He's the one who's like, hey, what if there's righteous people there?
Now he has to see this.
He has to witness this total destruction.
It's heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff,
And
yeah.
it's not even over, right? Because Lot and his daughters, they're alive.
They survive.
But they're alone.
Completely alone.
They've been through this trauma.
Unbelievable trauma.
Hiding in a cave.
It's like, what do you even do in that?
And this is where, again, the story takes another turn.
It does, and it's not an easy one to talk about.
No, and I think some people reading this, they're probably like, wait, what?
You're probably, hold on, I need to reread this.
Yeah, so Lot's daughters, they get him drunk.
Really, really
And
drunk.
Well, they sleep with him.
Both of them.
I
Yeah.
know. That's like, for us, today.
Incomprehensible.
But we have to, again, remember the context.
We can't judge it by our standards.
And I think what it shows, more than anything, is the level of trauma.
Trauma, desperation, the complete breakdown of their world.
Like, their entire world has been shattered.
It's like they don't even know what normal is anymore.
And they make this choice.
A very flawed choice, a desperate choice.
And it has consequences.
Oh, huge consequences, because they get pregnant.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Wow.
And their sons, they become the ancestors of the Moabites and the Ammonites.
Which, if you know the Bible,
big players later on.
they cause some problem.
They do.
So this one act,
Born out of desperation. It echoes through generations.
it makes you think about choices,
Choices and consequences.
Like, even in the midst of all this destruction, you still have to make choices.
You do, and those choices, they matter, even thousands of years later.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is,
So
yeah.
we've got divine judgment, we've got the destruction of cities, we've got, moral dilemmas galore.
And the story's not even over yet.
And this thread of, like, intergenerational conflict that's starting to spin out.
Yeah. It's not your average bedtime story, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. This is intense stuff. You can't just walk away from this story and be like, well, that was something.
No, it really sticks with
It
you.
really does. So how do we even begin to make sense of it? What are, like, the key takeaways here?
I think it forces you to confront some really uncomfortable truths, about justice and morality.
Yeah, like, what does it even mean?
Right. Because it's easy to say, oh, Sodom and Gomorrah, that was about bad people getting punished.
Right, but it's more complicated than that.
It's way more complicated because you have Lot, who's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, he's trying.
But he makes these choices, and it's like, are those the right choices?
And it's not like we get a clear answer.
We don't get that. And then you have his daughters, and it's like, talk about a lose-lose situation.
And the fact that their actions then go on to shape future generations.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Means that even in the midst of destruction, we still have this, like, responsibility.
Yep, absolutely. Like our choices, they
They
ripple
do.
outward. We might not even see how
It's kind
far
of a
they
lot of
go.
pressure.
It is, but it's also empowering
How
in a
so?
way. It means that we have the power to choose good, to choose compassion, even when things are falling
Even when it feels like
apart,
the world is ending.
especially
Wow,
then.
I never thought about it like that.
And I think that's why this story, even though it's, what, thousands of years old, it
Still
still
resonates.
matters because it's about us. It's about
It's
the
about the
human
choices we
condition
make.
and the impact those choices have, not just on us, but on everyone around us, even on people who haven't even been
It's
born yet.
definitely given us a lot to think about, that's for sure.
It has, and hopefully it's given us all a little more to think about the next time we're faced with a difficult
Maybe that's the
choice.
point of these stories, you know? They challenge us, they make us ask the hard questions.
And they remind us that we're not alone in asking them.
This has been an incredible deep dive, but that's all the time we have for today.
It's been a pleasure,
And to
as
everyone
always.
listening, thank you for joining us on this journey. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.